Hello guys, Nigel here with you. So here we've got a review for you today, and it's not this, but if you've got one of these then you'll be very interested in what I've got to show you today, which is absolutely brand new to the market. Hanants are showing it as a pre-order, and I think they're going to be getting theirs by the sort of end of this week. Today is the 21st of June 2023, so yeah, I think basically they should be getting theirs in. So you might want to get yourself some of these. These are the ASK resin exhaust for the Kotare Spit. You've got the double-sided ASK masks. This is all available from Hanants, which is absolutely brilliant. Then we've got some from Aniz, from Tom over in aniz.de. You can get the weighted wheels for the Kotare resin. They're beautiful wheels. I've done a review of these, and you can also get a 3D printing program off them, so you can print your own if you've got a printer. Then there's some rivets here, which are 0.5mm in case you lose any detail on the spine at the back. You've got screws, which are great if you want to replace some of the screws. And then you've also got the cross-headed screws if you want to replace those. But what I want to talk to you about today is something else. Now, the kit comes with a beautiful decal decal sheet if you're in the States, and it's made by Cartograph. It's absolutely gorgeous and very, very nice indeed. But as we all know, there's nothing better than being able to get that painted on look. And as you can see here, we have a hell of a lot of reference for stencils, different markings. I mean, this thing has even got decals for the bottoms of the exhausts. I can't remember in the instructions it shows it now, but yeah, the instructions you get with this kit, this is like, if you want to build a Spitfire Mk.1A from anyone, this is like your reference manual. It's absolutely brilliant. All the colours, all the cabling, all the stenciling, everything. Lots and lots of real wartime pictures, as you can see. Absolutely brilliant. So what I want to really concentrate on and show you is this. This is the one-man army brand new mask set for the Kotare Spitfire in 1/32 scale. It's the Mk.1A. The kit I just showed you, obviously. These you've seen me review before. It's very, very hard to review a mask set because it's all so good and so fine. It's very, very difficult to see, but these things are, believe me, they are amazing. So in here you've got all the stencils on the aircraft, and you've also got all your insignia. So you can see on the front here there's a sample of the instructions. You've got one-man army. Here's the email address down here, and there's the part number 32DET021. So if we look on the back here, let's get it out of this envelope so we don't get the glossiness. If we look on the back, we can see the different options we have, and you can see that we have N3180 of 54 Squadron, May 1940. We have P9495 610 Squadron, June to July 40, and we have N3277 Dirty Dick of 234 Squadron, August 1940, and they are basically the same options as you're getting in the kit. So in here you're getting masks to paint those insignia rather than actually use the kit decals. I would say because the decals are from Cartograph, I would say the colours here will be very, very good, so you could always use these as your guide. And then here we've got some information on, you know, tail, wing underside, starboard side, check your references, wing underside, starboard side, check your references. Check your references on everything. We've got this here, we've got this yellow square which only appears on one of the versions. We've got a mask for that. We've got the Kiwi, which only appears on one. We've got the mask for that. The fin flash, so you've basically got masks in there that you can cover the whole thing and then mask around and then take that away and put those three pieces in individually, or you could just carefully put those three in with some transfer tape. More about that in a minute. You've also got the little Dirty Dick sign there, but there's a couple that you haven't got purely because they'd be nigh impossible to do. It's like on the side of one version you have this decal, where was it? Here, decal 32 and 33. You can imagine trying to do that. You've got the victory coming through the swastika there. That would be extremely difficult to do in a mask. So you have to use the decal on that one, but hey, they're Cartograph. But the beauty of this is things like here where we've got stencils, and you can see you've got the Zeus fastener alignment marks there. I catch it in the light, and you can see they are on one decal, so the whole thing is going to get covered in carrier film. So there's, you know, lots of options for silver, and you're going to really want to put a clear coat down first. I know before you start writing on your keyboards, guys, I know you don't have to, but I always do. It's the best way to guarantee not getting any silver in, unless of course you're building a Tacom Apache, and then anything you do will not stop you getting silver in. So you've got some decals over here. I'm not sure what these are. I couldn't even find them in the instructions, but I should imagine they're gas patches or something. But there we go. So enough about decals. Let's have a look at this set. So what we're getting in here is a beautifully presented set, which has full instructions inside. You can see we've got our actual mask there as well. So you can see here, looking around the instructions, fastener alignments, check necessity and orientation. Always check your references. If you're after your accuracy, if you check your references, you won't go wrong. Okay. And use enough light and magnifier to position. Carefully mask off using the small strips T. Try some spares first on a piece of scrap. We'll go through that in a second. We've got walk lines here. Now, what I prefer to do with walk lines is, rather than mask and spray a black line, as you would do with the decal, you'd use a black decal, which is a nightmare to get them straight. What I would do is spray that area of the wing black, okay, where the walkway is going to go. Spray it black where it's going to go. Then fit the masks. Then do all your camouflage, and lastly remove your masks. Okay, it says in here not to leave them on for more than 1 day. I think that is probably more of a back covering exercise, because I know that Peter says the same about the Art Scale kit window masks, these things here. He says not to leave them on for more than 1 day, I think, or maybe 2 days or something. I've left them on, like on my Sky Crane, they were on there for like 2 weeks, absolutely fine, came off fine. So in fact, one of them was on there for nearly a month because I'd forgotten to take it off. But basically, going around, we've got all these fastener masks here, which are absolutely wonderful because they are just masks for those 2 little dots. There are 2 painted on dots to show that the Zeus fastener is aligned and the aircraft is ready for flight. When you see them on the decal sheet, here we go, the decal sheet's coming out again, you can see them on here. I'm not sure if you can pick them up. There's black ones and there's white ones. The black one's there, white one's there. And you can see the carrier film around them. And when you bear in mind, that's going down over a recessed hole, if you like, where there's a Zeus fastener, you know, the decal's going to have to go down and get into that hole 100%. You know, you're going to really make sure it's down, and then you're going to seal it in with clearers and that. With this, you don't have to do any of that. Just put them down and paint them on. Absolutely wonderful. And then here we've got more of those same markings here, more of the same here, and then we've got our WT markings here and our M marking there. We've got stencils for all of that. We've even got the stencils for underneath the exhaust manifolds, which is great. We've got our trestle markings there, which are wonderful because, as you know from my 24 scale Spitfire, if you're doing that one, this is much better because the decals there actually go over the gun line, the gun mountings, and they really do get on your nerves, or the gun access panel, should I say. And again, you know, with stuff like this, if you've got removable gun panels, if you're putting a big wing roundel on there, okay, I know this kit doesn't have removable panels, but if it did, you put a wing roundel on there, and then you've got a cut out to get the panel off if you want to get the panel off. So there we go. And on the back here, we've got some general instructions, position of markings, check kit instructions, other references. Exact panel line positions and dimensions can differ slightly according to kit manufacturer. Just because this set is made for the Kotare kit doesn't mean it will fit another manufacturer's Mk.1A or Mark II or whatever. Be very, very careful. Perfect example, Sven has made a set for the Heinkel 219 from Revell. Doesn't necessarily mean it will fit Zucchini, so be very careful. Use a magnifier and enough light. Visit the Mk.1A Army website. Leave the mask on the model no longer than 1 day. Always remove the mask very slowly in an unrolling way. So basically, don't just, you know, you need to kind of, if that's your mask, you need to sort of just roll it back like that, slowly, rather than just try and tear it off. So especially with the smaller ones. And then use the spare max mark with X. We'll go through this more in a minute. Mark with X for prior testing. Golden rule: airbrushing thin and multiple layers. God, I can't talk today. One golden rule: airbrushing thin and multiple layers, slowly building up the colour. This is absolutely critical. My advice is to use this if you're doing white. MRP Fine Surface Primer. It's absolutely wonderful stuff. One, because it's, as you can see in the bottle, it's very thin. If you can see it in the bottle there, it's very, very thin. A 2, it's not grainy, as we all know. Like Tamiya XF2 is very grainy, whereas this isn't. It goes down nice and fine. You can put it down lightly and it will go down wonderful. As I say, build it up slowly, and also when you do spray your masks, come in from 4 different angles so you get into the corners. Like I showed you on here earlier, this thing here, this Screaming Eagle, whatever it is, you can imagine if I had just sprayed like this, going across, we probably wouldn't have got the paint down into those tips, because the mask is almost like a trough, isn't it? It's almost like a valley, and it's no good just trying to flood the paint down on top. Come in from the angles, make sure you get nice and sharp into all the corners, and make sure you keep it dry. Don't, if you start to see the mask getting wet, you probably ruined it. You need to keep it dry. So we've got a legend here. X is your spare mask, more about that in a minute. ABC is a layered mask, more about that in a minute. Question mark is different stencil possibilities, so check your references. Always, always, always check your references. Trim is adjust the mask according to the situation. So, for example, it may be that there's 2 different variants of the model, and one has a piece of glaze in there and one doesn't. So, you know, you might want to trim it to go around the glazing or whatever. But you won't often see that because these things are just beautifully made. Colour is choose colour according to reference. So, like, sometimes things will be white, sometimes things will be black. For example, Lancasters, sometimes the propeller warning, you know, stripe underneath the fuselage, or it's not propeller warning, is it? It's a lift trestle here. Some are red, some are grey. So choose your references. Trans is used to transfer tape is very important. More of that in a minute. And optional, additional maintenance stencils can be added for missing panels in the kit. So it's just, if they're giving you optional instructions, I'm not sure there are. Do we have an optional here? I very much doubt that we do. You're more likely to see optional, I think, on more modern stuff. Like the F-35s, there's lots and lots of different variants. He actually does an F-35 for the Italeri kit now. Maybe someone wants to try it on the Trumpeter kit. But again, it may not fit very well. So the other thing we get in the pack is a set of usual manual, which is a set of generic instructions, and I've covered this loads of times. I'm not going to cover it again now, but I'm going to go through some detailed instructions in a minute. So moving on to the actual masks themselves, we've got 3 sheets in here. So we've got a small one there, we've got a bigger one there, and we've got a big one there. So as you can see, lots and lots of masks, and you're going to use most of them. So looking at all the main stuff first, here's the simple stuff. We've got the big roundels. Hopefully you can see that if I can catch it in the light. Maybe if I bring the light down a bit lower, sorry. Maybe we can form some shadows. There we go. So you can see that stencil there, that mask there. That is your main roundel, okay, for your aircraft. And what you do is you use this one first, okay? So all you're going to use is that outer area. You're not going to use the inner area at all. Okay, so you put that on your model, you'll mask off around it, okay, to cover the outer, because your camouflage is already going to be on there. You put that on your model, and then you spray your blue, okay, and then once that's all dry, you put this one on, lining up these 4 corners so they go over each other precisely, and then spray your red. So that'll give you a beautifully sprayed on roundel that is painted on, and it gives you the painted on look. So you can see here, there's the big one there. You're only going to use that outer area, and then this one here, those 4 corners, the size of it is exactly the same as that one, so you just put it down over that one. You don't have to do any weeding on the model and then putting them back in or everything. You can if you want to. I mean, one way you could do this is to put this on the model, carefully remove that larger ring, spray your blue, put the larger ring back in, remove the centre one, spray it red. But this is a much better way of doing it, because you're not having colours butting up to each other, you're putting them over each other, so you're guaranteed to not get an edge. If you do this slightly wrong, you might get a bit of a sort of camouflage showing through here, say. You might get a bit of camouflage showing through there if you do it the way I just explained. But doing it this way is far, far better. So put that one on first, just with the outer, and then put that one on. Talking about the weeding, always weed on the paper. So with this one, you would remove all that inner, then you would put your transfer tape on, take this off of the sheet, put it onto your model, rub it down, and then remove your transfer tape. Okay, as you can see here, you get a spare to practice with. This one here, obviously you're going to remove that you would probably want to use transfer tape on that just to keep the shape. If you can imagine, if you didn't use transfer tape, that would just go like that, go like this, go like that, whatever, and it would lose its roundness. Transfer tape, you can use any old masking tape, Tamiya tape, whatever, it all works absolutely fine. And the beauty of it is, if I put Tamiya tape on here now, I bet this won't work now because I've said it. No, it won't work because I said it. If I put Tamiya tape on there now and I peel it back, you see it's peeling away the mask, because the adhesion of the mask to the backing paper isn't as strong as the adhesion of the tape to the front of the paper. Okay, when you put it on your model, when you pull the masking tape off, the adhesion of the mask to your model is stronger than the masking tape to the mask. So if you think about it, when you've got a roll of masking tape, what you are basically doing is unpeeling it off itself, because you've got it layered on top of each other, so it doesn't stick very well. So always weed before you put your transfer tape on. Put your transfer tape on, remove the mask, put it on your model, remove the transfer tape, do your painting, and then do the same with that, spray the red. So you can see there, here we've got the, these are the ones for the tail, the WT markings, and then we've got that yellow circle and the 2 yellow squares. As I say, these go on the outside of the roundels on one example of the model, and that one I couldn't find, I didn't know what it was for. Here we've got the smaller roundels here, so again we'd use that one, then use that one, then use that one. And here we use the that one first, spray a yellow one, then put that one on, put the blue on, then put that one on, put that one on, put the white on, is it red on? Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. That's right, you'd put this one down, spray yellow, put this one down, spray blue, put this one down, spray white, and that one down, spray red. Now what you might want to do is be a little bit careful with having blue underneath your white, so you might want to just mask something under there slightly smaller or something, but I'm sure you get there in the end, and anybody could work this all out and just get it all the way they want to get it. But many masking companies, they will just give you like that. So it's up to you to weed that out and then put it back in and take the next one out, put it back in, take the next one out, put it back in. But this system, I think, works really, really well. The other thing you might want to do is, when you've done this one, okay, you'll put that one on the top and you'll spray your blue. You might want to then remove that one, put that one over, spray your white, and then remove that one and put that one over, so and spray the red, so you don't get this massive stack up. Going down here, we've got all our, you can see there, the masks for the location for wingtip, steady and trestle. You've got those there. You've got your dirty dick masks there. And then you've got some tiny, tiny masks there. I can't even see where they say. Where's my magnifier? They say electrical connection. Another piece of advice I'll give you, which will work really well. I'll do it under this one, because in a minute I'll be telling you where you can go and see these being used. What you do is get some bits of masking tape on your board. Okay, just some little bits like that. So all you need is some triangular pieces of tape. Okay, like that. Lift up the corner of your mask and just put that. This doesn't really apply so much on the big ones, but on the smaller ones it's very important. Just put that under there, and then you've always got then an easy point to come and pick up the mask off the model without having to dig and possibly scratch your paint. So if you always do that on the bottom left hand corner of all your stencils and everything, you'll always be able to get it off easy. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get that off of there. I can try. Maybe I should try off camera, eh? Oh yeah, it's coming. There we go. So that's good. So the person that's going to be getting these will be pleased with that. There we are. Right. So that's another little tip. Should have done all that, should I, on the bench? So moving along here, yeah, we've got our dirty dick, we've got those there, we've got the, what's that one there saying, number 16 is 100. That's obviously the octane. And then we've got our kiwis here, okay? And then, so what we've got here is a square, so we can position where we want that square to go, mask around it, and then take it away and then put your kiwi in. Here we've got our gun covers. These are to protect the barrels from freezing when they're flying before they use them. Obviously if they've been used there will be holes. You may want to use the decals instead of using them, because in reality they are sort of doped canvas, and they do have a thickness and a depth, and also if the bullets have been used they'll have a rough edge around them, so you might be better off using the decals than using those. Up to you entirely. So that's the first sheet. And on the second sheet we've got more roundels, as you can see here. I can catch it in the light, more roundels, and then more roundels across the top. And then we've got some letters here for our registration, so you can see the AZ and the KL are all spaced out beautifully. You've got the KL there with the cutout, and you've got the B there, and then we've got more roundels. And then here we've got a serial number N3277. We've got walkway forward, walkway inboard, that's for going on our wing lines. And then we've got wheels up when indicator flush, so we've got all our wheels up stencils there. You can see them, they're absolutely stunning, really, really nice. And then these bow tie type affair things here, they're really, really clever. If you can see that closely, you will see what you've got is like a bow tie, and there's around that little line is a circle. Okay, hopefully you can see that. So you've got those two lines there. These are your Zeus fastener markings. So you've got those two little lines there, and around there is a circle. And the reason he's done it this way is so you can peel that off and you can lay that over the circle that's moulded into the side of the model. In fact, let's have a look at the actual model. We can get a fuselage side out. It wouldn't be on the top, would it? So you can see here, you have these round Zeus fasteners here. You can see one there. Okay, and these are like little lines that go either side, and it's painted on both the Zeus fastener and the panel, so that as the Zeus fasteners turn, the lines line up. So if they're looking at the aircraft before it goes and they see a cross rather than a line, they know the Zeus fastener has not been done up. And the reason he's done this like that is so that you can line that up, which is very cleverly done. You've got that circular area there around the mask that you can line up on the Zeus fastener. You have a nice bow tie there, so you can check that they're all straight and parallel with each other, which they would be. And then we have these tiny little masks on here, which are T. You can see they are just literally little bars, and they go over there. So they will go one there, one there, one on the bottom, one on the top, and then you can just put a strip of masking tape all along all of it to mask off everything, and then do your stencils. Yes, it's a lot of fuss, yes, it's a lot of fun, and yes, the results are absolutely incredible. Better than decals any day of the week. Any day of the week. And remember, you can scratch them, you can chip them. I mean, you can scratch and you can chip decals, but you're always going to have that edge. So, and remember, like I said earlier, these you don't have to put any clear coat down first. You don't have to do any of that. I know you're going to say you don't have to, but I always do, just in case. And you don't have to seal them in or anything afterwards. You can just do this and then get on with your weathering. So, and if after you've weathered it or you've decided you want to do some chipping or scratching, whatever, you can. Whereas if you've sealed in your decals, very, very difficult. So on here, we have more of those marks, and he's done a different method here, whereby he's got a rectangle, but he's got two little areas which pop out of the mask. Let's just take one of these off. So as you can see there, if I put this on here, oh, he's already got one on there, stupid me. I'm going to put that back in there. Okay, I've put that back in there. So I've got a card here, I'll show you in a second. So what he's done there is actually made the circle out of two little bits so you can still see where you're putting it. So you've got lots and lots of spares to have some fun with. I'm not sure, you could probably reuse those if you wanted to put them back on. They're probably strong enough that you could reuse them and use them on another model, because they're absolutely lovely. And as you know, most models don't have the decals for them at all. You can see that there, what I'm talking about. So you can see there, basically there's the mask, okay, and there's the two strips T. So you would basically take that strip, okay, so after you've located the mask over your Zeus fastener, and then you would use that strip to block off the bit that's giving you the reference for your positioning. Okay, so brilliant, Sven, lovely. And you can see on here, before I move away from it, you can see on here we've got the actual stencils taken out and put onto a piece of black card, so they're much easier to see. But they really are, I mean, you can see how fine the detail is on there. Very, very nice indeed. Here's the machine gun covers, as you can see there. So moving along here, we've got more of our letters. We've got DW, DW, K, K, K. Here we've got the D with the cutout in it. I'm not exactly sure. I need to, my mind is telling me I want to know why. I want to know why we've got some with the D cut out. It's not telling me in here. I'm sure somebody will say in the comments below. But there we go. So you've got one D with the cutout and then two Ds with no cutout. And again, they've got the W with them, so you get the right spacing. And then we've got the KKK there. No, we've got the K there. Sorry. Here you can see the fin flashes. So you've got the, there's your surround there. So you could put that on your model, get it absolutely dead right, and then you could come along, mask around it just to get the general, to give you a template, take that off and then lay these in. Okay, or you could use transfer tape on them, position them, take one away and all this and the other, but it's going to be very difficult to do that. As I say, it's much easier to use the prescribed method. Got more of those WT signs there, more fin flashes down here, and then we've got the other type of fin flash there, which is just the rectangular ones. So we've got three different sizes of fin flashes. These lines here are your wing walking markings, the lines. So you paint black first, put them on, paint the rest of the model. And then more of those down there. And here we've got some M's there. You can see those, absolutely gorgeous. And some stuff here that's so small I can't even see what it says. What does it say? It says Jack here. So you can see here, like I was telling you with the little bit of tape down in the bottom left hand corner, on the Jack here you've actually got the writing there, which is off to the right. You've got all this spare mask here to peel up. So very, very nice indeed. So Sven sent me an email and he suggested that I go through some actual notes. So spares, it's worth noting that on the sheets here you will see in various places, you will see there's an X. You can see you've got an X there for the AZ. We have an X there for the H. We have an X here for the fuel 100 octane capacity. So these are the ones you can use as your spares. So if you want to do tests for colour and everything, so like for instance, if you're going to spray, if you're going to camouflage your model first obviously and then put these letters down, if you're concerned about how the colour you've chosen for the AZ is going to turn out, you could do a scrap piece of card or something, or another model with the brown and green, Craig Breen, great loss, brown and green, and then put that over and then see how it looks. So you can do some tests like that. You could then, if you want to, take that one off and move it and try it somewhere else. You've got the spare, same with the spare there. You've got a spare lot of roundels there, like you see. Lots and lots of spares. Weeding, as I said earlier, weeding should always be done on the backing sheet. Once weeded, use your transfer tape to move the decor, the mask onto the model. As I say, it's really advisory. It's in the generic notes. This is the easiest way to show you. For example, what we do is we have the actual mask here. We weed it first on the backing tape. Weeding is just picking out the centres. Put your transfer tape over the top. Take it away from your tape. Stick it on your model. Take the transfer tape off the top, as I've already been through. That way you can't go wrong. And what that's for is to keep the mask in shape. If you can imagine, if you didn't have the tape on there, that 3 would probably go all lopsided. You know, this here would probably bend and move over. Same here with the circle, it keeps it round. And then you do the same for the star and it keeps it all correct. If you can imagine, if you didn't have the transfer tape on that star mask, when you peel it up, it would just go whoop, it would completely lose its shape. So that's what the this bloody phone, that's what the weeding and the transfer tape is all about. Yeah, weeding is so important for all bigger parts. Sorry, transfer tape is important for all bigger parts. It can also be used on the small text stencils, but with stuff like this, I would be very, very careful, because you can see you've got some very, very fine, like with your walkway inboard in the K, you've got two little triangular bits going in. On the inboard, you've got two little triangular bits going in. You know, you may well lift them when you lift the transfer tape off, so be very, very careful. But you don't really need to use it on them, because they're so sharply cut, they come out beautifully. Removing masks at all stages. Masks and transfers should be removed very, very slowly. And as I said earlier, when you do remove your masks, did I say earlier? I can't remember. Remove them like that. Okay? Don't just try and peel them off. If you roll them back, then you're good to go. And basically, it's just it's obvious to many people anyway. When airbrushing, you know, airbrush a little dry. Don't get the mask wet, and as I say, coming from the angles, you can imagine, like with this X here, M, sorry, if this was my airbrush and I just sprayed from that angle, I probably would get a very, very lopsided stencil. So come in from 4 directions and you're guaranteed to get into your corners, but make sure that it's been really well rubbed down. What you can do is grab a piece of paper like this deco paper when it's on your model, okay, put it over the top, and then you can really, really rub it down and make sure it's really gone down and all the edges are nice and tight. And as I tell you in all my videos, always do that just before you paint, because sometimes if there's a little stressed area and it wants to lift, it'll lift and you won't find out until you've seen the overspray go underneath. So there we go, guys. That has been this set, and this is brand new. It's currently available for pre-order on Hannants, although it's not available to buy yet. It's 32DE2021 and it is highly recommended. You may also notice on Hannants that about to be released from One Man Army is also a set for the Tsukimura TA152. I have that set here. I'm not going to review it now. I'll probably do it maybe on the weekend or early next week. So thanks for tuning in. As I say, go and get yourself one of these. It's well worth. If you want to see this being used, I'm dropping you in here, mate. If you go to Zinzan, his channel, he's actually building a Kotare Spitfire. He's nearly finished. He's at the decaling stage, and I have said to him, why don't I send you this so that you can actually use it on your model? And that's also giving Sven of One Man Army, it's giving him some advertising on somebody else's station as well. So there we go. So as I say, go over to Zinzan. I'll put a link down below. Go and have a look at his build of the Kotare Spitfire, and you'll see him using these. He's going to do a whole featured video on it, and he's going to get in a right old pickle, I know. But he does love it. His swear box will be coming out, I expect. So I'll see you all soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.